Hello, Leigh here from Nothing to Wear. Now, today I have a very special guest. Her name is Eva Galambos, and she is the owner of Parlour X in Sydney, which is very fancy, and she is very fancy, but she's also super knowledgeable and so helpful when it comes to curating a wardrobe you're going to love and wear that's good quality, but you don't have to spend millions of dollars. Let's do it.
You have to do it. You live for fashion.
Eva, thank you for joining me. I said to you off air, I'm a little bit scared, and you said people often say that. It's because you own such a fancy store and a fancy brand. And I must say, I was looking for a 40th dress a few years ago, and I went into Parlour X, and I didn't find it there, but the staff was so welcoming, so friendly, so helpful. So we don't need to be scared, right?
No, definitely not. It's a misconception. I understand where it may stem from, but it is a misconception. And at the end of the day, the most important thing for me within the context of my business is to always provide exemplary service, because our repeat clients, our nurturing our existing clientele is the most important aspect of our business.
Well, I left feeling great. Now, we're here to talk a whole bunch of different things: luxury, how to look polished, how to not have to mortgage our houses. But first, I want to start with you. Can you describe your own personal style in 3 words?
3 words is difficult, but I will try. Creative, confident, and polished.
Love creative. We've not had creative before, I don't think, and that's such a good one because it paints a picture but could mean something different to everyone.
Exactly.
Creative. I like it. Okay, the theory that rings pretty true for a lot of people is that we have a whole wardrobe, but there's 90% that we like and wear, but then there's 10% that we just rely on, wash, wear, love. What's in your 10% that's your most loved, most you stuff?
For me, the number one key piece is a black blazer. I do own multiples, but my suggestion to anybody would be to own one well-made, beautifully crafted black blazer, because that could last in your wardrobe for over 20 years.
And why do you reach for yours or one of yours all the time? What are you pairing it with?
Well, to be honest, I use my blazer more often than not when I want to polish an outfit or make sure that it looks tailored. So sometimes I'll also juxtaposition it. So if I'm wearing something particularly casual and then I want to look smart, I'll add a black blazer to it. So for me, the blazer is an element of tailoring that is just completely necessary to make any outfit look sophisticated.
Love it. Now I'm thinking what black blazers I've got. Before we jump into the rest of the episode, anything else that you just love wear? Are you a jeans girl?
I'm not the hugest jeans girl. I sometimes wear jeans, but very, very rarely. And when I do wear jeans, they're tailored, they're high waist, and they're wide leg. So they're kind of a bit, I guess, fashion. I don't wear them in a casual way. And I will wear them, when I'm feeling like I want to, tone a blue outfit together. So it's kind of tied into more of a colour theme than it is more of a fabric.
Than the utilitarian
exactly.
Jeans for running. That's fascinating, and I like that. Gosh, I'll take any reason to wear jeans. Now, many people in Sydney will know Parlour X, but for those who don't, for our national or international listeners, what is Parlour X? How did you get started? And how has a retail offering like yours, or like any, survived these years and decades of so much change?
Okay, well, it's a massive question. Let's start with the bit about Parlour X and who we are and how we came into being. I created Parlour X over 20 years ago. So, in fact, we'll be celebrating our 25 years not too far away.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I have to say I am also marvelling at the fact that we're still in existence given what's gone on in the industry and the massive amount of changes. But just getting back to who we are and what we stand for, Parlour X was created with the idea of bringing to people a art gallery style appreciation of fashion in the way that people normally appreciate art. So the idea is that you will buy fashion that will appreciate in value, stand the test of time, and have a memory or a keynote story which could come from the purchasing right through to the idea around purchasing. But it's the idea that fashion and beautiful quality, beautifully made fashion can be seen almost like art. And so the idea was to present that to Sydney at a time when the offering in Sydney was very limited.
I mean, this is before online shopping,
Yeah.
before fast fashion,
Well
before,
before.
before social media.
Yeah, it was well before.
Amazing.
Yeah, so what influenced us back then was very different to what influences us today, obviously. But yeah, back then the Sydney offering was limited, but it wasn't just that. Everybody was bringing in designs a season behind. And so for those who travel frequently, they would then see what is being passed off as new season as a season behind. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that it's Southern Hemisphere versus Northern Hemisphere climate. But it was completely and totally doable. And so, that was one of the most important aspects of starting Parlour X and presenting current collections to the Australian clientele. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I know, because before we had, the internet, that sounds like we're dinosaurs, but, we didn't have that transparency of what was happening. We just, things hit stores, we thought it was new and we bought it. And you were like, hang on, no, poor Australia, let's get them up to speed. Now, you have such a sharp eye for fashion. How would you define your own style philosophy or shopping philosophy?
All of our wardrobes are only as big as they are. So for me, when I acquire new pieces, it also means I have to discard pieces. So I feel guilty if I have too much or if I want to take too much. It makes me almost feel gluttonous. So on the one hand, I want to celebrate my rewards with acquiring beautiful pieces, because that's what we do and it makes us feel good. But on the other hand, there's a circular element to that, and that is that I need to discard anything that I don't wear often enough or that doesn't feel like it represents who I am anymore. So I guess, there's certain pieces in my wardrobe that have been there, and certain looks and certain feels, and to be honest with you, certain brands. And, we go back to when I described my personal style as creative. So there are certain brands that are extremely creative, or that I consider to be extremely creative. And I still have pieces for 30 years.
Amazing.
And some of these brands even go into their archives and recreate, and some of the pieces aren't even as good as what they were at the very beginning. But I still stock a lot of those brands and a lot of those collections. So it's a building block. So I see my wardrobe as a constant building block, as a constant as a constant outlet, so to speak, of just building from previous seasons and
like
previous
an art collection.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love that. I want to come play in your wardrobe. Now, you've built this incredible career in fashion. So I also wonder, do you feel the pressure, or is there a pressure to always look good because you own such an incredible fashion brand? But from all of that, have you learnt any tips or tricks for dressing well, no matter the occasion?
It's funny. I don't feel pressure from anybody else other than myself. So I don't feel good about myself unless I feel that I look good. So looking good is important to me. And I understand that every person has their priorities in life, and we're all extremely busy, whether we're raising children or we're juggling jobs or, just juggling life in general. We're all very busy. So we make sacrifices according to time, and we decide what's a priority to us. And for me, looking good is a priority because it's completely tied into how I feel about myself and my sense of self-worth and my sense of fulfillment and my sense of success. So for me, when I look in the mirror, if I'm not happy with what I see, if I'm not happy with how I'm presenting myself, I will take that little bit of extra time to make sure that whatever it is, I spruce up so that when I walk out that door, I feel presentable in the way that I want to be presented.
And when you say looking good, you mean looking good for yourself,
For
right?
myself,
Like going, I feel
100%.
like me, I feel like this makes me feel powerful.
Look, going back to the creative thing, I don't dress for everybody.
No, me neither.
My personal style is unique to me, and there are a lot of styles and also silhouettes that I wear that people are often shocked at, or surprised. And when I say shocked, I'm not wacky in any way. But for example, I have, oversized and voluminous clothing is very much part of my staple dressing. And I'm not actually a very big person, but regardless, I like dressing in clothes that are quite voluminous. And on the odd occasion when I am not wearing a voluminous outfit and I'm dressed tailored or I'm wearing something
quite sleek.
People around me are shocked.
Yeah.
And I often have it's met with, why aren't you wearing more of that? Or why do you not expose yourself more? Or why? And it's because I dress for myself.
Yeah.
And my confidence comes from within. And it doesn't matter to me how people perceive me, whether I'm bigger or smaller or what even that means.
Yes,
who cares?
who cares?
I dress in a way that I feel good for myself.
It's so true. Clothes can just be clothes, but they make you feel powerful or confident or happy. And you know what? That's what it's all about. Now, people might presume or assume that you're only about high-end or luxury, but you have some great insights into curating a wardrobe that can feel luxurious but without a super high price tag / selling our car / getting another mortgage. So what's the secret to looking luxe but not going into thousands of credit card debt?
I think it is impossible to look super luxe without owning one or two key luxurious pieces. How you acquire them is a different story, because obviously now with the explosion and the circular economy of secondhand and secondhand designer clothing and consignments and so it's not necessarily about breaking the bank, and it's not necessarily about that. But I also think there has to be a reality check too, because I think there's a lot of people constantly acquiring fast fashion. And if you add up in the year what was spent on fast fashion, and if you take that budget and you carefully buy one or two key pieces and then a few pieces that are maybe, I don't endorse fast fashion, but you can certainly go to the markets. You can go to Glebe markets.
Your mid-range that's good quality.
Of course. Well, yeah, exactly. No, but that I'm happy. I mean, I love that. I want to endorse and support up-and-coming designers who have their own unique design element. Yeah, I mean, I guess when I'm talking about fast fashion, I'm talking about institutions that will emulate other people's designs. I think if
that end up in landfill.
Exactly. So I think the key is, recognizing and acknowledging what is a sophisticated, luxurious piece, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a brand that is associated with that. It just means that the quality of the production, the quality of the fabrications, the buttons, whether or not the seams are even and perfectly symmetrical, understanding what defines what is perceived to be beautiful quality. So it kind of, everybody's price range is different according to them.
Yeah, but you can set those parameters in place regardless. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And also just I think a lot of the show this year so far is about taking a beat and really considering purchases.
Yes.
Making sure, it's not just an emotional purchase, and really kind of making it more considered.
Yes. I think also to that point, maybe if everybody took an interest, not everybody, but if some people took an interest in fashion but also love the idea of styling behind fashion. Okay, and then that way you could still have a limited wardrobe. And if you knew how to style yourself, or if you kind of pushed the envelope and you recreated looks, you probably would find so many more looks in your wardrobe than you realised were even there.
Yeah, the combinations you've never thought of, rather than going, oh, no, I need something for this weekend, and grabbing something that's new and cheap and you'll probably never wear again.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay. You've talked about the black blazer. Do you have any other little tricks for making outfits feel effortless but refined but cool but shit, I've run out of time?
Yeah. I mean,
accessories? I don't know.
No, absolutely. I mean, so let's just start with that black blazer again. So you can wear that blazer closed. You can wear it open. You can also belt it. Okay, so when you wear it open, when you wear it closed, when you wear it belted, that one blazer will look completely different depending on what you're wearing it with. So if you're wearing it with jeans, or if you're wearing it with a really long floor-length flowy skirt, depending on how you choose to wear the blazer, it can look really different. Now, the other thing is, I mean, this might be a little bit quirky for some people, but you can wear the blazer back to front.
Oh my gosh,
where you put the arms in, you button it at the back, and you can also belt it. So what I'm saying is recreating certain elements. Okay, so let's go through what else can you have in your wardrobe. So a belt. So a really good belt is really important. A beautiful shoe. So it could be one boot and one sandal and one trainer, but make sure that the quality is beautiful and it will last. So what I do with my shoes is I take my shoe to a cobbler, to one of the guys that, where you can get your keys cut, and they usually have machinery in there, and and again you're creating a service for somebody else. You're buying into their service, and they're making your products look brand new. And they do that with shoes. They do that with bags. So I do that a lot.
I do too. It's funny you say that. It's just been my 10-year wedding anniversary, and I wore Alexander McQueen heels that I've still got, but they're in pretty bad shape. And I thought, I'll buy new ones for, the anniversary. And I went, no, you know what? And I took the old ones, and he made them look almost brand new for $60.
Brilliant.
And the sentimental value of wearing them 10 years later, it was not as exciting as new shoes, but then it felt so good to give them new life, and the memories, like you say.
Okay, so imagine if you had a court shoe and you added a brooch to the front of it.
That's
and then
cool.
Suddenly you're taking a plain shoe and you're adding an element that makes it look completely different. And then you wear that all season, and then you've got your new shoe as well.
Yeah, I've seen people do that with clip-on earrings, which is actually very clever.
Yeah, but you can also colour shoes. FYI, you can also have them painted. So there are different ways of recreating things. Same with bags. You can put a scarf around a handle. You can dress a bag up. Like there's also at the moment, people putting trinkets and all sorts of things on their bag. Yeah, absolutely. So there are different ways of being super creative in reinventing your wardrobe.
I love that. Oh, now you've made me want to go home and think I've got a lot of like beige and cream leather shoes, and I'm like, they're dead, but I could dye them. Work events. This is something we get a lot because people either think, more corporate, but like work is boring / I'll just go by whatever, or they feel like they have to look very professional but not cool, or, they get confused about fashion and work because apparently they can't go together. You and I both work in fashion, so that's different. But do you have any tips for, people that might be a bit more corporate than you and I to look sharp, feel confident, but still get the most out of their wardrobe so they're not just wearing it,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we have a lot of clients that work in a corporate setting, and often they'll come in saying, what new suits do you have, or what, so it's about matching sets. So for those particularly corporate that need to wear a suit is one element, but you can also look very corporate just in a matching set. So a matching blouse with a matching skirt, or a matching blouse with a matching pant, and then you put, again, your black blazer or a blazer over the top of it, and it can, be worn with it. But the thing is, you could have a black suit, or you could have a blue suit, you could have any coloured suit, and as long as you had lovely blouses, and again, you could have a pussy bow blouse, which means you have the bow that you tie in front, which again will make a suit look really different. So, you can reinvent a suit by simply reinventing how you style it and what shirts or what blouses that you put with it. The other thing as well is, because oversized jackets and oversized anything is looks effortless and looks cool, there is a way to also think about wearing items a little bit bigger and just making it look like it falls and hangs really comfortably on you as well. There's something very confident about that.
I agree, yeah. It's not that we have to have like our, traditional 10-year ago sort of fitted blazer and then you wear your cool one on the weekend. You can make them work for both, totally.
And you can also bring to work a pair of heels if you're wearing flats all day. And if you're going straight from work to an evening party, you can easily just put on a fantastic shoe, change the bag from, a satchel or whatever to a evening bag, and you can add some crystals, put on neck pieces, do your hair up, add the makeup, and, and maybe change the top, or not even change the top, add a belt, and then, you really can style yourself up.
Ooh, now I want to work corporate. On the other end of the scale, everyday wear. I mean, I'm guilty of this. I have a big wardrobe, but then a couple of days a week, I'm literally in my daggiest leggings and my balled up T-shirts, and I'm like, no one see me today, and then that's when I bump into people. So is there a key to still feeling put together and, just running around, but you, like we said before, you put in that little bit of extra effort, even if you're just running errands, and you feel better for the day. You don't care if you run into people.
Well, I mean, look, I would never wear a T-shirt and tracksuit pants together. I'd wear a T-shirt, but I'd wear it with a dressier bottom, or I'd wear a tracksuit pant, but I'd wear it with a blouse.
Blazer.
Yeah, or a blouse and a blazer, and a sandal. So I think it's about how you coordinate the pieces together. So if you're wearing a T-shirt and leggings and trackies, then yes, you're going to look super casual, and there's no way around it. But if you mix it up with items that aren't as casual, then you can definitely do that. I mean, let's face it, you're in trackies, you don't want to change, but you can quickly, within 30 seconds, change your top. Put on a shirt, put on a cotton shirt, pull the collar up.
That's why my trench is hanging by the front door, because I'm like, I can pretty much hide anything under my fancy trench. Yeah. Okay, good. It's just about having to think of the overall outfit.
Yes.
You can still be comfortable, but you're just giving it a little bit more effort. Now, do you mix high and low, or do you, I mean, obviously having a retail offering, do you shop anywhere else? Do you shop in real life? What's your personal, like, shopping?
You know, obviously all of my clothes are from Parlour X and my bags and my shoes and my bits and my pieces, sunglasses, everything. However, I do have 2 daughters and they love shopping, and I am in the process of teaching them the value of shopping. They do not have my budget and they do not have access. I will pass bits and pieces down to them, but I'm not passing anything precious just yet because I don't feel that they will look after it well enough. So what we do as a family little excursion, so after our Saturday netball, because both my girls play, we at least once a month take a little trip to Glebe markets. Great. So I teach I started out exploring and understanding fashion from the markets. So I am that old that I remember.
Me too. Saturday mornings I'd go in and
exactly, and it was Paddington markets, and that was back in the day when Zimmerman started at the markets. There were so many different brands that started at the markets, and the markets was a launching pad. And it was also a place where you could pick up inexpensive pieces, and you felt that you were providing the vendors with their what their revenue for items that they had potentially made themselves. And it didn't feel that you were in this circular, economy of fast fashion. You didn't feel you were contributing to something that was exactly. Yeah. So my kids shop a lot at the markets. We make jewelry together there. There's little jewelry stations. Sometimes as well there are a few secondhand designer places, and so when my kids want something that I'm not quite prepared to pay that amount, sometimes we'll find it there, and we'll go home, we'll wash it together, and we'll talk about the fabrication, we'll talk about circular economy. But, for example, I even brought in with me today, I have, even though I have access to so many pairs of sunglasses.
Yes.
I often buy
How many have you got in one bag?
Actually, often a lot. But
I've always got 4 or 5.
Yeah, so I've brought in these sunglasses to show you, and it's quite
gosh.
funny. And because we do sell luxury sunglasses, and I wear them as well.
Yes.
I'm a bit of a sunglass buff,
Me
so
too.
I
Can
will
I have a look
find
at these?
styles in the markets that you can never ever find
Oh my God, these are fabulous.
anywhere
they probably
else.
Look ridiculous. Oh, they're so good on you.
And everybody asks me where I get them from. They all think I'm going to rattle off some luxury brand.
People are probably like, okay, I couldn't see those in Parlour X, so they're coming soon.
And they don't realise that I spent $10 and put them at the market. So when I was there for my children, because I do like the experience of shopping, I kind of can't help myself, and I start smelling people's perfumes, or, I bought a really lovely anklet for myself from a guy that was importing product from India, and, and then there's other people that have chili oils. And so I like the markets because it reminds me of my childhood, and that's when I learnt how to, shop, and the value of shopping and the value
Feels very community too, doesn't it?
It
Like
does.
what it was back in the marketplace back in the day, where you do meet the people behind,
And you can ask those questions, and
Yes.
100%. And sometimes some of the brands have little sales. So, my daughter was so excited because the swimwear brand that she loves was having a sale, and she was able to buy that. So, yeah, I love the markets, and I agree with you 100%, the community. There's often music playing, and there's people there, and they're making food, and often they've made it at home, and they're coming there. So, yeah, and also it feels quite multicultural because the cuisine is from all different nationalities. So, yeah, I really enjoy the market. So that's my low.
You have inspired me to go. I do a lot of thrifting, but I haven't been to a market in quite a while, and that has inspired me to go to some local ones soon. Now, quickly before we get on to Boujie and Budget, you mentioned fabrication a little bit and teaching your daughters about that. Can you give us some tips on fabrics that feel luxurious but that might not be expensive, or fabrics that we should avoid? I mean, I know that's a whole topic in and of itself.
No, because I'm glad because what I might say now could defy what a lot of other people think and feel. So I do not believe that man-made fibres are all terrible.
I love you for
and
saying
I do not believe that they all should or will end up in landfill. And I say that because some of the brands that I represent and that I've been stocking for almost 25 years, they don't use man-made fibres and these are very highly creative brands that their pieces have held the value of time
But they are man-made, not natural.
They're not made.
Oh.
So this is what I'm saying. So the thing is, some of these brands that have incredible designs, if they were 100% cotton, if they were being washed over this 20-year period, they would have disintegrated by now. And so some of these pieces that are man-made fibres, they've stood the test of time, and I can hand those down to my daughter and they will cherish them and they'll understand the value of those. So don't get me wrong, I'm not entirely endorsing all man-made fibres, and I'm not entirely putting down natural-made fibres, not at all. I see the merit on both sides, and I also see the complexities around both sides. But what I will say is there are some rayons and some viscoses that are completely breathable. So very, very different to, the boomer old-fashioned
yes, your really cheap, sweaty poly that stinks.
No, because rayons today and beautiful quality viscoses, your skin breathes. There's, the perspiration doesn't necessarily go hand in hand, and they're not creasable. So you can put them in your suitcase, you can go traveling, you can wear them at a meeting and then go out at night and not worry that from sitting all day you're going to have creases, all on your pants or on your blouse. So there's a lot of merit. And as long as they don't end up in landfill, if they are a beautiful quality, they shouldn't. They can be passed down, or they'll go into a circular economy of some sort.
I have to say that I have one blazer that I just take for travel all the time. It's synthetic. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't crush. It still looks great. I can chuck it on the floor. I can, can survive in the overhead locker, and I get off and it looks great. And I honestly, I know I should have a wool or a whatever, but
it depends. I think the issue is when people feel it's going to end up in landfill, that's when it's a problem. If it feels like it's something that's going to last you a lifetime or something that will end up back in the circular economy, I think people are okay with that. I think.
I agree. No, I agree. Absolutely. All right, let's jump into Boujie and Budget. Boujie and Budget. We're both going to bring something bougie, so fancy, something budget that can just be a little bit cheaper than your Boujie. You can even talk about your sunglasses again. I'm going to go first because I chose my Boujie from the Parlour X website. I did my homework. I'm so good. I love a T-shirt. I live in T-shirts, not today, but I didn't know that Parlour X, you do your own tees. The Parlour X, the XT in white, they're so fabulous.
I so did not expect you to say that.
Did you not? No, honestly, I'm always a tee and a blazer. And I've got, all the M.N.G and I've got all of the, the Celine, and I just love a white with a bit of something.
Yeah.
And so obviously we'll link it in the show notes, but I didn't know Parlour X did a tee, and you should do more of the Parlour X stuff.
Well, the X is fun for us as women because X marks the spot, X chromosome.
It could be anything.
X factor.
It could be a kiss.
Exactly, it could be a kiss.
They're very cool. Please make more things.
Oh, thank you.
What's your bougie? It can be very bougie.
Well, I brought it with me today, and that's my bag.
I was going to ask about her.
Yeah, so
Alaïa.
I brought her because she's my bougie. So for me, it's always a bag. It's not always a bag, actually, but usually it's a bag.
Okay.
Because often the bags, even if they're very, very discreet, people can recognise them.
Absolutely.
So the bag is often a bit of a bougie giveaway.
So you stock Alaïa at Parlour X?
I do. We've had Alaïa since the beginning of Parlour X almost.
Wow.
So it's one of our most important partnerships, and we have it exclusively. And
do you know the style name?
Yeah, this is called the Teckel.
Oh, wow. It's almost, okay, I'm going to butcher this, but it's almost like a pencil case. It's like a baguette sort of shape, a beautiful, like very wearable strap, not uncomfortable.
Well, that was the whole point. So, obviously in Europe you have to wear coats, and here sometimes you wear your trenches.
Oh, it drives me insane, and then it slips off.
So that will not do that. That is perfect for that reason. And actually it looks quite small, but it fits everything.
It fits so much.
I know. And it's quite smart, so you can wear it in the evening if you're going from day to night.
Yes, it's actually very versatile. And yes, the longer straps under layers. You've sold me. Okay, my budget are a pair of pants that I found on the Iconic. Now, I love M.N.G or M.N.G for some high street stuff. The Iconic gets a bit of it here, but you can also shop online from overseas. But these are just called the Grace trousers, $159.95. And they're just a really simple sort of tapered at the ankle. But I just feel like those could be a really good classic pair of pants that people could wear with a T-shirt, with a tank, with a denim jacket, with your trench. So they're my budget.
Lovely.
What about you? Are they your Market Sunnies?
It is my Market Sunnies. So,
I love them.
So okay, but it's actually not just my Market Sunnies. I also have my Market anklet, and I have some bracelets. Sometimes if I want to buy the kids just a little treat. It'll be a trinket from the markets that's like a bracelet or something that has that kind of feel, along with my
sunglasses are fabulous. Yeah. I need the pink pair, but with a darker frame. But yeah, I'm going to head to the markets. Eva, congratulations on such a long-standing career through all of the ups and downs, and long may it continue. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you too.